Do you wish to proceed on file item 35? Pass on file. File item 36, Senator Leyva. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 585 by Senator Leyva, an act relating to insurance.
Senator Leyva.
Thank you, Madam President. Good morning, members. Senate Bill 585 aims to improve collection of child support owed to children and their caretakers. Specifically, this bill makes mandatory for insurers a currently voluntary program which verifies that insurance payments made to individuals are first used to pay owed child support. This program is coordinated by the California Department of Insurance and California Department of Child Support Services. Currently, this in-state collaboration with over 300 insurance companies nets approximately $17 million annually to help improve the quality of life for children and families in California. That's $1.4 million per month that is already being put to use helping families. We have an opportunity to collect millions more for California children and families by making this great program mandatory. Insurance companies of all sizes are working with the state to ensure that kids, and largely their mothers, are receiving the support that they are owed and deserved. Let's show our support for a program that works, because in California alone, the total amount of unpaid child support is nearly $18 billion. 29% of families eligible for child support have an income level below the poverty level. Child support amounts to 45% of income for poor families who receive it. Women comprise over 80% of parents that are eligible for child support. My office has worked with the stakeholders to remove opposition, and we will continue to collaboratively address remaining issues. Importantly, all stakeholders have committed to making this program successful. Members, before you today is a program that works and an opportunity to strengthen our commitment to children and the parents who care for them. In support of children and a program that works, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Senator Leyva. Senator Gaines.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President and members. I rise in support and appreciate the author and her work with the insurance industry to craft a great piece of legislation that I think will be very helpful. I had a staffer in my office who struggled for years and years because of a lack of payment of child support for her children, and this is a means of capturing some of that money through insurance policies and having a positive impact on children. So also PADDOC, which is the Pacific Association of Domestic Insurance Companies, has written a letter of support. So urge an aye vote.
Senator Cannella.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise in support of this bill as well. We all know women who work very hard and are not getting the child support they deserve, and they're trying to make ends meet, and usually they fall below the poverty line. And my staff did some research, and it said California has a voluntary collaboration system right now, and they raised approximately $17 million last year, compared to Texas, who made it mandatory in 2014, and they collected $463 million last year. So I think this is a good bill. I think it's, you know, our kids and single mothers, or our fathers, I guess, in some cases, deserve all the help they can get.
Thank you. Well, never to be outdone by Texas. Any further debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Senator Leyva, you may close.
I would like to thank the senator from Ceres, California, named after the Roman goddess of agriculture, whose motto is "Together we achieve," for his support, and the senator from El Dorado Hills for his support, and I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
All debate having ceased, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen? Aye. Anderson? No. Bates? Bell? Aye. Berryhill? Block? Aye. Cannella? Aye. De Leon? Fuller? Gaines? Aye. Galgioni? Aye. Glazer? Aye. Hall? Aye. Hancock? Aye. Hernandez? Aye. Hertzberg? Aye. Hill? Aye. Wesso? Aye. Huff? Jackson? Aye. Lada? Aye. Leno? Aye. Leyva? Aye. Liu? Aye. McGuire? Aye. Mendoza? Aye. Mitchell? Monning? Aye. Morlock? Morrell? Wynn? Nielsen? No. Pan? I. Pavley. I. Roth. I. Runner. Stone. Vidak. Wykowski. I. Wolk. Wolk, aye.
Please call the absent members.
Bates. Berryhill. De Leon. I. Fuller. Huff. Mitchell. Morlock. I. Morrell. Wynn. Runner. Stone. I. Vidak. No.
One more time, please call the absent members.
Bates. Berryhill. Fuller. Huff. Mitchell. Morrell. No. Wynn. Runner.
Ayes 29, noes 4. The measure passes. Moving on to file item 37, Senator Pavley. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 209 by Senator Pavley, an act relating to surface mining.
Senator Pavley.
Yes, members, this indeed does have to do with modifications of the State Surface Mining and Reclamation Act, also known as SMARA. This bill is designed to track the recommendations coming out of a broad stakeholder process on mining reform that is being coordinated by the governor's office and the administration. Although some items have been proposed, not all have been resolved. Any future amendments will include the results of the stakeholder process. The basic themes presented by the administration in the stakeholder process are generally bundled into 3 main categories. Number 1, how to improve annual inspections. Number 2, how to make sure that the financial assurances are indeed adequate in case an operator fails to undertake reclamation. And number 3, how to make sure more operators have reclamation plans that meet modern standards. Currently, the bill has a handful of relatively modest changes. It prohibits the financial insurance mechanism from being reduced or released without mutual written consent of the local lead agency in the department. It also elevates the Office of Mine Reclamation into a new division at the department and establishes the head of the office as a state mine inspector. We are still working through the question of how to manage the mines when counties can inspect their own mines, although my intent is that counties should be able to do so. I hope to amend the bill to reflect these topics and other streamlining related issues as we move the bill forward. In Senate appropriations, we reduce cost pressures on the bill. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Any debate or discussion on this item? Any debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. I. Anderson. No. Bates. No. Bell. I. Berryhill. No. Block. I. Cannella. No. De Leon. I. Fuller. Gaines. No. Galgiani. I. Glazer. Hall. I. Hancock. I. Hernandez. I. Hertzberg. I. Hill. I. Hueso. I. Huff. No. Jackson.
Aye.
I. Lada. I. Leno. I. Leyva. I. Liu. I. McGuire. I. Mendoza. I. Mitchell. Monning. I. Morlock. No. Morrell. No. Wynn. No. Nielsen. No. Pan. I. Pavley. I. Roth. I. Runner. Stone. No. Vidak. No. Wykowski. I. Wolk. Wolk, aye. Fuller, no.
Please call the absent members.
Glazer. Mitchell. Runner. Glazer, aye.
Ayes 25, noes 13. The measure is adopted. We have 2 more items on Senate third reading that we're going to try to get through, and then to the extent we might be able to take up something on the Assembly side, we will. But let's, if we can, before we do that, we're going to go briefly back to privileges of the floor and recognize Senator Hill.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, please join me, and if they'd stand in the gallery, the fourth grade students from St. Matthew's Episcopal Day School from San Mateo. Please welcome them to the California State Senate.
Welcome to the Senate.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, members.
Thank you. File item 38, Senator Block, pass on file. File item 39, Senator Monning. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 602 by Senator Monning, an act relating to seismic safety and making appropriation therefore.
Senator Monning.
Thank you, Madam President and members. Fewer than 11% of California homeowners have earthquake insurance. This is a recipe for economic disaster. SB 602 offers homeowners another way to protect themselves. This bill would create a new voluntary mitigation financing tool, allowing the California Earthquake Authority to provide loans to homeowners for mitigation projects that meet approved engineering guidelines. The CEA would utilize the existing Earthquake Loss Mitigation Fund, which is funded by returns on CEA investments, and there will be no cost to the state of California. Increasing mitigation is one way for us to improve our resilience and our ability to recover from disaster. Before the next major earthquake happens, we need to put this in place. The bill is supported by the CEA, the Insurance Commissioner, the Personal Insurance Federation of California, the Association of Bay Area Governments, and it has received no opposition. Members, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, is there any objection to substituting a unanimous roll call? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 38, no 0. The measure is adopted. We're going to move very quickly, if we could, colleagues, to the Assembly third reading file, and we're going to start with file item 43, resolution. Senator Lara, are you prepared to take this up? All right, Mr. Secretary, please read file item 43.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 47 by Assemblymember Chow relative to 529 College Savings Day.
Senator Lara.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, Assembly Concurrent Resolution 47 by Assemblymember Ed Chow would establish May 29th as 529 College Savings Day. ACR 47 serves as an opportunity to raise awareness about the importance of 529's college saving plans, such as our very own state-sponsored ScholarShare. Today, 7 out of 10 college seniors graduate owing over $28,000 on average in student loan debt. Utilizing 529 college savings plans can help reduce the amount of money students borrow from loved ones while pursuing their academic goals. I will respectfully ask for your aye vote on this measure.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, is there any objection to substituting a unanimous roll call? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 38, no 0. The resolution is adopted. File item 45. Senator Pan, are you prepared to take up this item? Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 61 by Assemblymember Chu relative to Asian and Pacific Islander American Heritage Month.
Senator Pan.
Thank you, Madam President and members. I'm pleased to present ACR 61 on behalf of Assemblymember Kansan Chu and the Asian and Pacific Islander Legislative Caucus to recognize May 2015 as Asian and Pacific Islander American Heritage Month. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the Asian American population grew by 45.6% between 2000 and 2010, making Asian Americans the fastest growing ethnic group in the United States. Our Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander communities have grown not only in numbers, but also in complexity and diversity. However, the APIA story started way before this growth spurt and dates back over 100 years. This month, we continue that proud tradition as we celebrate the contributions of APIAs to our nation, and particularly California. In fact, just last week, recently the Chamber celebrated the 150th anniversary of the Chinese-American contributions to the Transcontinental Railroad and the 100th anniversary of Locke, California, the only Chinatown in the nation. Despite the varieties of communities that make up the APIA community, all of their stories are tied together by the challenges they faced in the United States, whether it be the xenophobic alien land laws that prevented South Asian American farmers from owning farms in the Central Valley in the early 1900s, and the federal immigration laws in 1924 that banned immigrants from Asian countries to the United States. In spite of these struggles, the APIA communities dedicated their lives to the families, our state, and the nation. They developed their own services in communities based in organizations and ethnic communities like Little Manila and Stockton, California. They organized like the Filipino Americans, farm workers, who fought for workers' rights as part of the United Farm Workers in the 1960s. They, the Japanese Americans, fought bravely for our country during World War II while their families were in internment camps back home. This month's commemoration of the APIA Heritage Month serves as a reminder of the rich culture that makes our great state. As the many diverse Asian and Pacific Islander American communities throughout the state celebrate this month, this May, I hope that you'll join the APIA communities in your district to celebrate our proud history and heritage. Please join me in commemorating the Asian and Pacific Islander American Heritage Month by supporting ACR 61. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Pan. Debate or discussion? Senator Nielsen.
Thank you, Madam President and ladies and gentlemen of the Senate. I speak as one of the co-founders of the Asian Pacific Islander American Public Affairs Association. Our goal is to get more API youth involved, get more API citizens to be citizens and to be involved in the political process. And the strength of API, the Asian Pacific Islander American Public Affairs Association, is it's spoken to in the name. It isn't just Asian Pacific Islander. The organization is Asian Pacific Islander American Public Affairs Association. And we try to educate civics, inculcating that into our youth so they will be involved. Our voter forum is all about that. And our outreach is all about that. And this organization embraces all ethnicities. They are all welcome, a part of our efforts, although there are certain programs dedicated only to the API youth. The 150th was very significant. The involvement of the Chinese, the building of the Intercontinental Railroad, the Transcontinental Railroad. But there are many other instances of history where the API community have participated in the making of this great state. I particularly farmed with a lot of Japanese Americans throughout the great San Joaquin Valley. I urge an aye vote.
Thank you. Senator Huff.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, you know, I also rise in support of this resolution. It's similar to one we passed earlier, but I think we can't say enough what the Asian Pacific Islander community has done in our state. We appreciate the great strides they've made, and we as a society in recognizing those. And you're probably tired of me hearing this, but as a representative of the largest API population, I feel important to continue to give recognition where it is due. And certainly the voters also recognize that by electing Senator Janet Nguyen, the first Vietnamese American member of the state Senate in the 2014 election, Assemblymember Young Kim, a Korean American, to the State Assembly, and Assemblymember Ling Chang, Taiwanese American. We congratulate them. We look forward to continuing to let people know the great contributions, as has been chronicled, to our society. I urge an aye vote.
Thank you very much. All debate having ceased, is there any objection to Senator Pan? Would you like to close?
I appreciate
Senator
the remarks and support. I also point out that there are many API legislators who, like myself, who also represent districts in our community, and I think that, again, appreciate your support for this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. All debate having ceased, is there any objection to substituting a unanimous roll call? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 38, noes 0. The resolution is adopted. We have two more. Senator Liu, do you wish to take up file item 46? Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Joint Resolution 8 by Assemblymember Brown relative to the Older Americans Act of 1965.
Senator Liu.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, I ask for your support on AGR 8. It would recognize the 50th anniversary of the Older Americans Act, the OAA of 1965, affirm the importance of the service that the OAA has provided older persons during the past 5 decades, and it also memorializes Congress to reauthorize the act. During the past 50 years, the OAA has been instrumental in contributing to the well-being of millions of older Americans. The act has improved the quality of life for some 4.5 million older Americans in California and has helped the neediest of our seniors. However, over the past 10 years, funding for the senior programs within OAA has been slashed. The Older Americans Act programs are vital supports that maximize the independence of older persons. AJR 8 has bipartisan support, has no opposition. As a principal co-author, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Senator Liu. Any debate or discussion from any of the older members of the Senate chamber? Seeing and hearing none, is there any objection to substituting a unanimous roll call? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 38, no zero. The resolution is adopted. File item 47, Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 60 by Assemblymember Gonzalez, an act relating to immigration services and declaring the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
Senator Hill.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, in 2013, we passed and the governor signed into law AB 1159 to prevent immigration attorneys, consultants, and notarios from luring people into paying money prior to the enactment of an Immigration Reform Act passed by Congress. AB 60 is a consumer protection measure which will extend those existing protections to approximately 1.5 million Californians that may be someday eligible to seek relief under the President's executive actions. It is an unethical practice to charge consumers for program services that have not been formally implemented. This bill has received unanimous bipartisan support. The state has a compelling interest in protecting vulnerable Californians from unscrupulous immigration attorneys and consultants. I respectfully ask for an aye vote, members.
Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, is there any objection to substituting a unanimous roll call? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 37, no zero. The resolution is, ayes 37, no zero on the urgency, ayes 37, no zero on the measure. Colleagues, that concludes the file, but we do need to go back to governor's appointments. Senator De Leon, do you wish to take up governor's appointments? File items 4 and 5. Senator De Leon.
Thank you very much, Madam President. We're going to take up file item number 4. We're going to mention the names right now. There we go. We got Jack Gardner. We got Michelle Miner, Marisela Montes, John Peck, as well as Brian Roberts and Amarik Singh. These are all governor's appointments that were heard in the Rules Committee and were approved on a 4-0 vote. There was no opposition. They were heard in Rules Committee on May 20th. These are commissioners for the Board of Parolee Hearings. Jack Garner is a former chief of police, the city of Martinez in Contra Costa County in the East Bay. Michelle Miner is a former deputy director of the adult programs at CDCR. Marisela Montes is a former deputy director of audit, adult institutions, I should say, at the CDCR. John Peck is a former correctional captain at CDCR. Brian Roberts is a former commander, sheriff, the San Diego County Sheriff's Department. And lastly, Amarik Singh is a former deputy district attorney in Kern County in the Central Valley. Again, these individuals were heard on May 20th in Rules Committee. They passed on a 4-0 vote with no opposition. With that, Madam President, I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Senator De Leon. Debate or discussion? Senator Nielsen.
Madam President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, this is a difficult one for me. I disapprove of the direction that the board's headed right now. Earlier parole dates, vastly increased number of parole dates. But I will have to tell you that these are not of their own doing. Really, these are circumstances imposed on them by this legislature and to a part by the courts. This is probably one of the worst appointive jobs in state government. These individuals get up Monday morning and drive to one of some 21 prisons everywhere from the Oregon border to the border with Mexico and spend Monday through Friday long days, some 14 hours, hearing only the worst. These are the worst of the worst, with the exception of death row inmates. And they get to review everything about the lives of these individuals and everything these individuals have done to harm society. And then they have to make some tough decisions whether or not these individuals are eligible and ready for parole. And they've come under enormous pressure to grant parole dates. The job should be to utilize their discretion, their training and their experience to review the totality of all the record of this individual from the womb till that very day they hear the hearing, and then make their decision. But other powers and authorities have been imposing pressures and constraints upon them for years. And for years, the board was able to withstand that. Now the pressures have gotten a lot greater. For these particular commissioners here, I can find fault only that I don't like the number of dates that they're granting, but I would not argue that they should be denied confirmation. Be reminded how hard their job is, and be reminded, as I will be reminding you, to not make that job any more difficult or compromise justice any more than we already have related to these worst of the offenders in society.
Any further discussion or debate? Seeing and hearing none, Senator De Leon. Senator De Leon completes his presentation asking for an aye vote. All debate having ceased, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. Aye. Anderson. Bates. Bell. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Block. Aye. Cannella. Aye. De Leon. Aye. Fuller. Gaines. Galgioni. Aye. Glazer. Aye. Hall. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Hertzberg. Aye. Hill. Aye. Hueso. Huff. Jackson. Aye. Lada. Aye. Leno. Aye. Leyva. Aye. Liu. Aye. McGuire. Mendoza. Aye. Mitchell. Monning. Aye. Morlock. Aye. Morrell. Wynn. Nilsson. Pan. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Roth. Aye. Runner. Stone. Vidak. Wykowski. Aye. Wolk. Wolk, aye.
Please call the absent members.
Anderson. Aye. Bates. Fuller. Gaines. Hueso. Aye. Huff. McGuire. Aye. Mitchell. Morrell. Wynn. Nilsson. Runner. Stone. Vidak. Leno, we have his aye.
Please, okay, one more time, please quickly call the absent members.
Bates. Fuller. Gaines. Huff. Mitchell. Morrell. Wynn. Nilsson. Runner. Stone. Vidak.
Ayes 29, no 0. Those appointments are confirmed. File item 5, Senator De Leon.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Our last file item with regards to governor's appointments is Ms. Terry Turner, again, Commissioner for the Board of Parole Hearings. She was heard on May 20th and passed on a 3-0 vote, no opposition. She is a former Deputy Commissioner, and she is currently, again, on the Board of Parole Hearings. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Senator De Leon. Senator Nielsen, debate and discussion.
Madam President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, this particular commissioner will receive a no vote from me. Victims, crime victims, next of kin, with whom I've known for years and who are very credible, have complained to me about the insensitivity of this particular individual towards crime victims, attempts to limit their testimony and participation, and even rudeness. That is deserving of a no vote. Our victims deserve better.
Thank you, Senator Nielsen. Any further debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Senator De Leon. All debate having ceased, Senator De Leon is asking for an aye vote. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. Anderson. No. Bates. No. Bell. Aye. Berryhill. No. Block. Aye. Cannella. Aye. De Leon. Aye. Fuller. No. Gaines. No. Galgioni. No. Glazer. Hall. Glazer, aye. Hall, aye. Hancock. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Hertzberg. Aye. Hill. Aye. Hueso. Aye. Huff. Jackson.
Aye.
Aye. Lada. Aye. Leno. Aye. Leva. Aye. Liu. Aye. McGuire. Aye. Mendoza. Aye. Mitchell. Monning. Aye. Morlock. No. Morrell. No. Wynn. No. Nielsen. No. Pan. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Roth. Aye. Runner. No. Stone. No. Vidak. Wykowski. Aye. Wolk. Wolk, aye.
Please call the absent members.
Allen. Aye. Huff. Mitchell. Vidak.
Ayes 25, noes 12. That appointment is confirmed. Senator Lara, we are going to move back to motions and resolutions. Senator Lara.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, the time has come to convene the Senate Appropriations Committee upon adjournment of session in room 4203 to hear our infamous suspense file. It's important that all the members of the committee show up on time and promptly in order to begin our hearing with the full quorum. And I also just want to take a point of personal privilege to welcome our new colleague, Senator Steve Glazer, who, by the way, adds to the Aztec caucus in the Senate. Many of you know I was a vice president at San Diego State University. Our senator, our good senator, was the student body president at San Diego State University. So want to congratulate him again. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Lara. Senator Hall.
Yes, wanted to remind the senators that Senator Holly Mitchell and I will be hosting White Suit Day on Monday. Members and staff are encouraged to wear a white suit during Monday's floor session. Photographs will be taken upon adjournment of the session, and then we'll be having a reception at Ellis from 5:30 to 7 p.m. on Monday evening. So please remember to wear your white suits. The gentlemen and the gentlewomen of the South used to wear white suits on the first day or the beginning or commemoration of the first day of summer. So please remember to wear your white suits. If you don't have one, you can go to Sears, where I get my suits, and you can get one for about $80 to $100. Okay, thanks.
Senator Anderson.
A personal privilege. I'd just like to point out and mention how handsome the Appropriations Chair looks today and what a dapper dresser he is.
Senator Wynn.
Mr. President, I just wanted to let everybody know that on Monday, I will be doing the resolutions for Disneyland Day. So I believe Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse will be here as well. So, you know, I've always told them that I can only call Mickey Mouse Minnie Mouse because that's what my 2-year-olds say, Minnie Mouse. So I look forward to seeing you here because we are the district that's the happiest district in California.
Thank you, Senator Wynn. Senator Stone.
Thank you. For purposes of adjournment.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm joined by Senator Mike Morrell here as we adjourn in the memory of the Menifee Councilman and former Mayor Wally Egerton. It's with great sadness that I rise to adjourn in the memory of this Menifee City Councilman. He passed away this past Tuesday at the age of 81 with his lovely wife Judy and their daughters by his bedside. Better known as Wally, he served as the first mayor of Menifee when it incorporated as a city in 2008, a position he held for 3 years. I proudly represented that area as a county supervisor until we redid the boundaries in 2010 and was very important in helping the city become a city at that time. He stayed on as a member of the city council and was reelected in 2012. Wally's career began in public service, serving on the Long Beach City Council from 1975 to 1992, 17 years. During his time on the council, he was awarded Outstanding Legislator. He was a stockbroker outside of politics, and he also lectured political science and public administration at Cal State Long Beach and at Mount San Jacinto College in the Menifee Valley. For the past several years, he dealt with complications of lung disease and received a lung transplant in 2011. But despite these health challenges he developed earlier this year, He continued his role as a council member, even being too ill to come to council meetings, but calling into the council meetings to make sure that his voice was heard and he could hear what was going on in the city. He was determined to finish his 4-year term to which he was elected. It's a testament to his commitment to public service. He always wanted to see Menifee prosper and always worked towards that goal. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family and loved ones during this time. Members, please join me in adjourning the memory of Menifee City Councilman Wally Egerton. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Stone. Please bring his name forward so he may be properly memorialized, and send his family our deepest condolences. Senator Galgiani.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. I rise today to adjourn in memory of a lifelong Stockton resident and local icon, Harvey Gersh. Harvey was born in Stockton in 1935 and tragically passed away recently due to injuries sustained when he was struck by a car. He was born developmentally disabled, but that did not stop him from living independently on his own for over 20 years before his death. He was known as a fixture in the local Stockton area for his love of baseball, often working the concessions at Little League, high school, and the University of Pacific games. He had the gift of gab and would talk to anyone who would listen. He was always trying to bring a smile to everyone's face. His death has sent shockwaves through Stockton at the tragic loss to a local giant. He is survived by his brother Mervyn and his sister Judy, who are with us today in the back of the chamber, and numerous nieces and nephews. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Galgiani. Please send his family our deepest condolences on behalf of the Senate. Please bring his name forward so he may be properly memorialized. Senator Hancock.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to adjourn in memory of Frank Osborne Brown, Jr., an accomplished scientist, engineer, college and high school educator, and community activist who served the Berkeley and Oakland communities for over 50 years and passed away peacefully on May 19, 2015. Frank was born in 1920 in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He was an excellent student, graduated at the top of his high school class, entered West Virginia State College in the School of Engineering, and graduated magna cum laude from that institution. He went on to be recruited in the military, and as a member of the technical consultant team, he worked at Canute Air Base in Chicago, where he was the lead electronic designer and flight engineer instructor for the B-29 bomber during World War II. While at Canute Air Base, he trained the Tuskegee Airmen and wrote their Airman Flight Training Manual. And I gave him a copy of the wonderful poster that we had for African American History Month here a few years ago, and he was thrilled to receive that. In the early 1950s, he moved his family to California, joined the engineering staff at Valtronics in Oakland, the first company in the United States to design and produce television picture tubes. He was the first African American hired as a professor at the University of the Pacific in Stockton. But in the early 60s, he decided he really wanted to work with community young people in Berkeley and Oakland, and started teaching high school students in Oakland, and taught at Castlemont High School for 36 years. His passion to teach math and electronics to young African American high school students was because he believed so strongly that technology might be the economic wave of the future. I worked with him for many years as he founded the South Berkeley Development Corporation, set up the Savo Island Limited Equity Housing Cooperative, which still exists and thrives in our community, was instrumental in getting the BART system undergrounded throughout the city of Berkeley, and for over 50 years was president of the Berkeley branch of the NAACP. For his entire life, Frank Brown was a tireless, cheerful, always optimistic and strongly positive community activist, and an unwavering advocate for youth and their education. He is survived by his sister, his son, Frank Brown III, grandsons, many relatives, and a community that will sorely miss him, and I ask that we adjourn in his memory.
Thank you, Senator Hancock. Please bring his name forward so that he may be properly memorialized, and please send his family our deepest condolences on behalf of the Senate. There appears to be no other microphones. With that, Senator De Leon, the desk is clear. There's no other further business.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Colleagues, I hope you have a wonderful and productive weekend. I know we'll return back to our districts later today, and we will be in our districts working tomorrow, Friday. Monday, we will reconvene floor session, not at 2 o'clock, but at 12 o'clock, 12 p.m. We have the whole week to work our third reading. We must get our bills out from the Senate, House of Origin, out by June 5th and no later than June 5th, so we can get it over to the next House. So House of Origin measures must be off this floor by the end of next week. For those who are from Southern California, please make the arrangements. We will not have session at 2 o'clock. We'll have session at 12 o'clock on Monday. Lastly, Mr. President, there's going to be a rager of a party in 211 to celebrate with the family of Mr. Glazer, Senator Glazer. His family is up here as obviously the first family that I have known, at least, to actually endure a whole Senate floor session. You know, after a loved one was actually sworn in, you know. So with that, and I just found out that half of his family are my constituents down in Eagle Rock as well as Silver Lake. And I just found out, too, that half his family are Latino as well, too. So they are Jutinos or Cubans, you know, Cubans in the Jewish community coming together, Latinos, Jutinos. So with that, that is room 211, reception for our newly minted Senator Glazer. With that, I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Thank you, Senator De Leon. The Senate will be in recess until 5 p.m., at which time the adjournment motion will be made. We will reconvene Monday at noon.